So I'm going to continue um, with your questions. So the first question that you asked, what attracted Kobe to his wife Vanessa? Um, her spirit of persuasion. Her spirit of persuasion. Very determined. Very, very determined. Um, what attracted Vanessa to Kobe? Uh, like she saw her prize. She did love him, but that love turned to hatred because of his distress, of his lack of attention. Yeah. Third question, was Kobe forced to marry his wife Vanessa because Vanessa's mom Sophia threatened that if he didn't, she would report him to authorities for sleeping with Vanessa while she was still underage? Yes, yes, categorically yes, yes. But it's not something that his mother only did, also her, also her. So she is a bit like an alchemist, Vanessa. Next question. Did Vanessa and her mom, Sophia, target Kobe because they could see that he was going to be very rich? Yes, yes, yes. Even before finishing your question, yes, I can see that already. Like they played a game. They played a game. They played a game. Yes. Okay, next question. Is it true that Kobe's parents were against Kobe marrying Vanessa? Yes, categorically they were. They were like, you're not playing this game. I refuse to. I refuse to play it because they supported him a lot. And I don't mean supported him to get to the best. I mean, they invested. They kept him at home when it was time for him to blow in a way that he would have gone down the wrong track. So it's like, and that matters to them. That matters to them. That you see, our son, he was going to go down the route that a lot of players go. He was a lot of football players, for example, like go. He was going to take all the money and drink himself to stupor and become a slave to booze, like drinks, right? There's a kind of UK accent coming through here. So there's a kind of like UK like a generational lineage of Kobe's. I wouldn't be surprised if he's connected to the royal family in some kind of way because I don't know why like the spirits keep speaking with UK slang. Even like the players, like football players keep coming up. Like they don't care about basketball really. It's football, football. So and the UK is very heavy on football compared to basketball. You know, basketball is more inclined to the US. So he's very much UK bound. Even his spirit has been roaming in the UK more than the US. Kobe's, I mean. So I would not be surprised he's connected to the royal family. Yeah. Some kind of lineage. Sometimes I put that there because of the energies. Like the energies can be so heavy. Otherwise, I would stutter a lot, and I wouldn't be able to do my reading properly. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, his lineage was played with. He is a royal family member. Not royal family, because I feel like the royal family, the modern royal family, is sort of bastardized. He's a royal member. He's a royal. He's of royal blood. Kobe. Yeah, like an abandoned child. An abandoned child. Not in a negative way. I mean, it's kind of like slavery. He was shipped, but he's from a royal kingdom. Yeah. So I guess this matters to your question because actually, when you ask the question about whether Vanessa's parents targeted him because they could see he was going to be rich, I was wondering why there was that energy of like the richness is not what you think. Yeah. And I guess this is it. It's like it's not the wealth that is visible. They know he's got the crown on his head. They know. They know. And that matters. I mean, I've talked at length before about the power of the royal family, or like royalty, the power of the nexus. Like it carries a lot of, basically, you can do a lot of things and get away with it. And they knew that. Not him. That's one thing he didn't know. In as much as he was involved in spiritual and esoteric things, like sacrifices and the like, this is something he did not know about himself or his lineage, talk less of his generation. Because I do see that in he's got a secret. Oops, yeah, he's got a secret child, and that child carries the blood as well, royal blood. He's got a son. Yeah, yeah. But it was hidden. It was hidden at first. Like it was hidden at first. At first, like this card here, right? Like a newspaper, news being burnt down. It was hidden at first. Yeah. But he's of royal blood. So she takes advantage of that. So okay, yeah, in saying that, that UK, they know that as well. He's not his physical parents, but let me say this, a bit like with Beyonce, right? And she's got an alter ego or a kind of spirit like Sasha Fierce. Kobe's parents, they communicate a lot with spirits, even though they don't realize it. And these spirits tell them some certain things that, like, it tells them a lot of things that Kobe may not even have believed if he was alive. So they do have visions, or like they see him maybe like swimming with angels who have crowns. They have no idea that that is his crown. Actually, that's his crown. So some guests, I'm saying that they're more drawn to the UK. Again, I would not be surprised if someone of his family just, I haven't read the newspapers, but in saying this, if someone of his family moves to the UK to stay. Like these are his roots. It's his roots. When you get to your roots, spiritually, there's a lot of power involved. And so, tying into your question, they did not want him going astray because he's a king. So there's no way they would have allowed him to go down that route. Oh, of course, going astray in quote, like he did get involved and indulged in a lot of gratuitous sex and stuff like that, but it's not the same. I mean, royalty really does not even see sex as sex the way people others see it. Like they see sex as a necessity, if not even a good thing to transfer information and fluids, right? That help with spiritual rituals and powers. So that's not even like when I say spilling out of control, I mean drugs and alcohol, like especially the booze. Yeah. Yeah. So this royal link is more like his father's side, sorry. So in saying that, they were against him marrying her, and they don't like the fact that she hijacked the efforts they took to keep him on the right track. It's as if, like, what do you think you're teaching us? What do you think you're playing at? So again, it's not his physical parents, but like his ancestors. They're very much alive, very much present, very much present. And they're the ones actually exposing Vanessa, like Vanessa today, because their presence is so strong. I feel like if I don't limit myself, this video can go on for like 3 hours. They just want to spill. So yeah, that answers your question about why they were against it. On the surface, it seemed like she's an opportunist, right? Like she just wants to make babies for him and sit down and be looked after. But there's so much more behind it. So like there's smoke, again, spiritual things behind it. He is a king. He didn't know that though. But she did, and she took advantage of it. Next question, was there ever true, genuine love between Kobe? Um, yeah, she loved him in as much as he loved her, but for different reasons, like what I just explained. Yeah. Let's see. What was the marriage really like? Not happy. But then again, they're not happy. The unhappiness is more from the lens of a certain vision, right? Someone who is not in the celebrity elite circle, that type of elite circle. But looking at it from another vantage point, they were happy, even extremely happy, because he got she got what she wanted in sucking on his priesthood or his kingdomhood, I guess, if that's a word. Him being a king or a prince, right? Because he never got crowned. He didn't know. So him being a prince, and then her feeding him whatever he wanted, right? But he had no idea that she was feeding him off of his crown. If he had known, he would have divorced her so quickly. So, but like she basked in his aura and then fed him off of his aura. Yeah. So he became depleted. And that's one of the reasons why he could not protect himself from the death, because he was not protected. He didn't take time to protect himself. He didn't take time to learn about his roots. And so obviously, if your roots, if you don't learn about your roots, and your roots just so happen to be the source of your power and strength, then well, you're going to crash, which is what he did. Next question. Is it true that once Kobe married Vanessa, he chose to no longer financially support his parents and he yes, yes, yes. And so, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like you're on your own. You're on your own. I've given you enough, which is my name. Make something of it. Build a tree, and a tree full of flowers with ring lights. Ring lights meaning attention, right? From the public. So even if you have to sell stories about me not looking after you, that's okay. You get your money, you get your coin from that. Yeah. So it's a bit, I mean, it's cruel, a bit cruel. But at the same time, what I am getting is that it's not, the cruelty does not match the level of cruelty that his parents inflicted on him when he was a child. I do see sexual abuse. Yeah. Next question. Is it true that Kobe, however, chose to continue to financially support? Okay. Is it true that Kobe, however, chose to continue to financially support Vanessa's mom, Sophia? Yes, but it wasn't him. It's like by proxy, by proxy of Vanessa. There's no energy of him wanting to or not wanting to. So if you have a question like, did he want to? No, no, no. But did he also not want to? No, no, no. Like he's just dead, like lightweight. Yeah. Or dead weight, that's the word. Next question. Is it true that Sophia idolized Kobe because of his money and fame and often sided with Kobe against Vanessa? Yes, definitely. But not because of fame. Like she actually resents fame, Vanessa. Sorry, Sophia. She resents fame. She likes the fire he brought to her. He likes the fire. But I have to say, I mean, a lot of his reading is highly spiritual. I guess because, okay, because of the violence of his death and the intentionality behind his death, it means his spiritual doors are getting broken down faster and quicker than others. So, in having said that, his reading is highly spiritual. Like I'm really sensing he did not care. But that's because in the spiritual realm, he really did not like, he didn't care about his crown, about searching his roots. So therefore, he did not care. That actually became part of his personality. Now, the fact that he became that kind of very nonchalant to the point of danger and then death, that kind of person, Sophia liked to use him as a pawn. So amongst the two in the marriage, Sophia was actually the strongest and is the strongest. Like she could destroy Vanessa's image so much more than any media could. Yeah, in a second. So in him siding with Sophia yeah, he sided much more with Sophia than with Vanessa. And Sophia sided with him when it would annoy Vanessa. Yeah. Okay, next question. Was Kobe guilty of the sexual assault charges that he was charged with back in 2020, in 2003 for sexually assaulting a 19-year-old? Can you check time? For sexually assaulting a 19-year-old woman who worked at a hotel that he was staying at in yes and yes and yes and yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. And he did more, like wanted to kill her. Yeah, wanted to spill blood because he was on drugs. So it wasn't him. And this isn't me making excuses. I mean, really, I don't want to keep prefacing my because I saw it a tweet, or let me say like a comment. I mean, I had to delete it on one of my readings. Like, I don't make excuses for things that I do not like or appreciate. So I really gain nothing in making excuses. Like, I'm not afraid of anyone, and when I do the reading. So I'm not afraid of people who watch, I'm not afraid of them seeing me as a supporter of such and like no, I'm evil, I would accept it, right? But for him, he was drugged, and he was also, so it's like someone encouraged him or induced him into drugging himself. Yeah, so I would definitely say if he was at fault 100%. Like, I mean, like I've said before, I've had experiences with sexual assault, so I would never cover it up for the sake of what his image. He's dead. Why would I not say the truth? But what I'm sensing here, he was drugged by her. Yeah, Vanessa. Not directly, but through inducing. Like, you can, if you know a person's temperament, number one, and also, let's say you know that the temperament, coupled with the fact that the person might not be having a good day, or they didn't have a good day the day before, or they've been having a bad week, with all, you're armed with all that information, and then you go to him, like in the room of the spirit, through the phone, or you send a voice note, right? And you say to him, don't you think you should relax? And you're saying that with the exact knowledge of what you're doing. You could say those words, you should relax, to somebody else, and you would not know whether that person would interpret it as you telling them, or you encouraging or inducing them into taking drugs. But he would, and she would, right? Or she would play the victim, or like she would play like an angel, like she doesn't know, but she does. She definitely does, especially because they would have talked about it before. So again, like a weapon, they would have talked about it before, and he would have said to her, it helps me relax, right? So let's say years back when he was trying to beat the addiction and he was down and sweating, he would say to her, it helps me relax, it helps me relax, I can't get rid of it, but I want to. She would remember that word, relaxation. So it's like a trigger. Now, I'm using the word trigger. It doesn't have as much significance in the physical realm as it does in the spiritual realm. Literally, in the spiritual realm, a trigger is like this, the size of this. It's it's a grenade. You know the right word to pick, which is why, I mean, certain people, when they hear trigger words, they go off. Literally, them going off is a reflection of what has taken place in their heads in the spiritual realm, which is this bomb has gone off, it's blown off, an actual real bomb, like a real life bomb has gone off. And that's what she did to him. She induced him into taking it. Without her that night, he would never have thought of doing that. Yeah. Even though he may have fantasies of such a thing, of doing such a thing, and actually carrying out a murder, like through, this is gory, but like some, like doing a murder, like by strangling, like feeling the lifeblood seep out of that person, strangling, like feeling the person, the blood rush to the person's throat and then just dissipate. He likes that feeling, but he's never indulged in it, not until she made him do that, right? So if ever, like, not even him or someone else says, she made me do it. I know that in the era of Me Too, right? And feminism, people would like to think or even say that when a man or when a woman says he made me do it or she made me do it, you automatically think it's a lie. It's not. You want to check that out because there's a lot more spiritual things happening, than you would ever have imagined. So if someone is saying even if she, i.e. Vanessa, for example, is not in the same room with him, or even if the call records do not show that she called him that day, she could have called him the night before. Now, nobody might make the connection between her calling him the night before and then the night afterwards, him getting into that state of raping and sexual assault and even wanting to shed blood, right? Strangle the life out of the person, out of the woman. Because she, on her side, Vanessa, she would say, well, we didn't break up. We didn't even have an argument. I don't know why he did that, right? Like with that kind of sweet voice. I don't know why he did that. We didn't break up. So technically, he should have been okay. I even comforted him. Not being willing to tell others that she comforted him in a way that she knew would trigger his appetite for blood and for the like psychedelic effect that drugs give, almost like being in another world. Because especially in light of the information that she has, right, about him relaxing off of that, and also in light of that other information that only she has about how um the failures or whatever he had been going through that day or that month or that week, how it would affect somebody with his disposition, somebody with his temperament. She, being his wife, would know exactly. Because when you're somebody's partner, wife, and women are especially like spiritually gifted, like powerfully, with things of the spirit, intuition, powers, spiritual powers, witchcraft, all of that. It's not necessarily negative, but again, I'm just saying, um, they would know what kicks something off, right? And when you've shared bodily fluids with someone, and also what's more, you're the person's wife, the blood covenant of being a wife is stronger than someone who comes from the same womb as you, because that covenant literally says, I'll be with you for life. And it's intentional. It's an intentional promise of being with someone for life. So what it means is it's a much longer lifetime commitment compared to someone like a sibling that it just so happens you came from the same womb. I mean, what else does that mean? The spirit realm does not recognize that as much as it recognizes the fact that okay, this person you've willingly, because willpower or willingness or intentionality is a really strong currency. It's a currency in the spiritual realm. And compared to blood or like water from the same womb, it's not as strong, unless it's not as strong a currency, unless the people, the siblings, for example, or the mother, child, mother, father, decide or determine that they want to hold on to and cherish that blood link of being born through the same womb or the same family. I hope that makes sense. So because she's the chosen one to live the rest of his life with, she carries a lot more like subliminal, psychological, spiritual information than the rest of the world would know. Things that push him, things that would trigger him, yeah, than others would know. So even to answer your question in a much more like, let me say, deliberate manner, she is at fault. She is the cause of what he did. Yeah. Oops. Okay, next question. Oh, see, the energies are so heavy. Um, um, Is it true that Kobe cheated on Vanessa with hundreds of women? Yes, yes, definitely he did. If so, how did Vanessa find out about the cheating? She didn't. She already knew about it. Yeah. Like she didn't find out. She knew about it already. Okay, next question. Um, Vanessa filed for divorce from Kobe back in 2011 because of his incessant and that was just a ruse. Like she just wanted to pull his chain. Yeah. Um yeah, she changed her she wasn't going to go through with it. Yeah, she wasn't. Okay. Okay, next question. Is it true that Vanessa has an extremely nasty attitude and personality? I mean, I think in light of what I said before, like her past life and alter ego, it's beyond nasty, beyond nasty. But she hides it extremely well. Yeah. Next question. Are any of Vanessa's friendships genuine? Yes, they are. They're in the same coven. The people that you would see really defending her, and I'm really meaning people, not people just like what you would see, people you would see her sitting with in front of the TV. No, I mean people like on social media who have no idea who she is. And they'll say it. Oh, I don't even know who she is, but people should stop criticizing her. They are in her coven. They just don't know it. Yeah. A lot of people, when they make covens, they inform people who are involved in that coven. But for her, she doesn't. So that ties into that nasty attitude because, I mean, yeah, you could say that evil doesn't have rules, but I mean, come on. At least this is the spiritual realm. Like you have no reason to hide the fact that you have a coven or you want these people in your coven, right? So just tell them. You don't have to let them know in the physical realm. Just tell them in the spiritual. But even in the spiritual realm, she remains nasty. Like she doesn't want them to know that they are part of her recipe. Now, when I say that, it's not a bad thing on them. Like she's not cooking them. She's actually using them to comfort herself that she's on the right track. Now, the only reason why these people are in her coven and they don't know it is because of how much they've been hypocritical with themselves, right? So the lack of knowledge about the status in the spiritual realm with her, it's directly proportional to the lack of knowledge to the lack of knowledge that they are unwilling to admit about themselves. Like they're unwilling to admit to themselves that they don't care about Kobe, but they do care about this woman being harassed. Like, but they find it very, very hard to admit that to themselves. I mean, I don't know why, but I'm just looking at the card and I see like they like pretending to be neutral. So like a fish swimming between land and the sea and like above the sea, the top of the sea. They like pretending to be neutral. And I don't know why. I don't know honestly from my point of view. I don't know why, but I guess they think it makes them look pretty nice, beautiful as Vanessa. Yeah. So they feel like that some of that energy of beauty will go on them as well. Um, and will serve them right. Yeah. So but they have no idea she's put them in her coven. Because I mean, if you support her without logic, right, or some kind of intuition, she's got females like female intuition. Then what do you think? Like you can't expect her to just, oh, thank you for supporting me, and that's it. Especially if you don't know her character. If you support a witch, then you have to be ready. You have to get ready for whatever that witch is going to do with your support, which she could use you to justify the most heinous things. And except you had protected yourself before you complimented her or, I don't know, supported her, except you protected yourself, you're going to be at the mercy of whatever recipe she cooks for you. Yeah. Um, is it true that Ciara's husband, Russell Wilson, doesn't really like Vanessa? No, he doesn't, but he's being attacked. I wouldn't be surprised if he's being attacked by Snoop Dogg. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like she's been using Snoop Dogg's image to attack a lot, well, to kill. She's a smooth operator. She's the type that uses a lot of time to plan so that it goes as smoothly and as undetected, so that her hands are not visible. Yeah, Russell Wilson. She uses it to kill. She uses his image to kill. Like in this, let me describe without wandering too much off track. She'll pretend to have this image, but you'll notice that if you notice, every single person has an image, right? And then also, every single person has a certain paradigm of discussion around them. What am I trying to say? So let's say for Ciara, the paradigm of this discussion around her has a lot to do with her marriage. The paradigm of discussion around Vanessa has a lot to do with Kobe's death. Now, there are further paradigms attached to that. For example, when it comes to Ciara, what I've just said, to do with her marriage, the paradigm, the next line of paradigm attached to that is her marriage not being perfect or idyllic, but being perfect amongst Black women. So that's another. So it's deliberate. She wants that sort of narrative or paradigm being set around her image so that she can break them down anytime or use them anytime she wants. So people build, some people much more intentionally than others, they build certain paradigms around themselves, paradigms of discussion. For Vanessa, and it's become a lot more deliberate, and that's by using Snoop Dogg's, I guess, his blood, his image, the paradigm of Kobe's death, and then attached to that, the paradigm of Kobe's death not being her fault. So it's like once you think of Kobe's death, immediately in comes the knowledge that it's not her fault. So it's not your thoughts. It's not you thinking that. It's not you who wants to think it's not her fault. If a thought comes into your head as if it's not you, like but it could be you, but it's not you because you weren't even thinking of that, right? It's like I wasn't even thinking that it's her fault, like why would that thought come in? That thought came in because she created it. Like she creates the paradigm, other people help her. Yeah. And so they created that paradigm. What it means is the paradigm of her not being her husband's like aggressor or behind his death. It means anybody who tries to talk about it will be hung. They'll have the like I guess the lifeblood being sucked out of them, right? And then along the line, certain things may happen to them, maybe being in an accident or whatever. But all of this would happen if they are not protected, if they don't protect themselves, which Russell Wilson has not done. So, I mean, I do see certain things happening to him along the line. Like, I do these readings and I feel weird because it's just like, okay, how can this happen? But of course, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I do see that. I do see that. And again, like I said, she's very much like smooth with it. So of course it won't feel like she has any role to play with it. What happens to Russell? But it's her directly. It's her because he doesn't trust her. Okay, let me move quickly just so that the video would not stop and see. Is it true that Kobe and Vanessa's daughter Gianna did not get along with Vanessa? Yes. If so, so next question. If so, why did they not get along? Was part of the okay. They didn't get along because they were of different covens. Just because a child might look like a child in the physical realm, it doesn't mean. I mean, there are children who are priestesses, um, in the and grandmasters in the spiritual realm. So it doesn't mean anything that they're children here. They could have more knowledge than someone who looks like an adult in the physical. So it's because they were of different covens. Okay. So next question is, what kind of a mother is Vanessa? Very loud in her intentions towards her children. And being very loud in one's intentions is not necessarily a bad thing, but she makes it a bad thing. Like, she's really the type of person who she throws the rocks and then she hides her hands. She would push, push, push them and almost expecting, categorically expecting that a response is coming soon. An aggressive response is coming soon. So she's going to push. The only thing that she's not really sure of is the extent of the aggression, right? That the child will respond with. So, and then she sits and then she waits. A few months down the line, then the aggression comes. But in the period of waiting and her pulling back, like she doesn't pull back. In other words, she will hardly apologize for the hits that kept coming. But what she will do is cover it up with good treatment, like taking the child to the spa or taking the person, the friend, right, to a spa, taking them to a spa, let's say twice a week to help them relax. Like, girl, you need to relax. I'm here for you. But really, it's like, no, I don't need to relax because the reason I need to relax in the first place is because of you. So it's like she doesn't, a bit like the royals. She pretends to want to pull them off of the cliff, but she's the one actually holding her hand for them to feel the pressure of the cliff, right? Underneath their feet. So kind of like that. Yeah. And she does it so very well. Okay, next question. It's portrayed. Oh, okay. Let me do the next question in another video because I really, these videos make me nervous. I don't want it to cut off.